Hey everyone, and welcome to the Fashion Algorithm. Today's sponsor is CloudFit.ai, a B2B fashion commerce company.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and get this, it was founded by the former CPO and CTO of major fashion e-commerce companies.
That's impressive. So they definitely know the industry.
Yeah, they really do. CloudFit.ai uses AI to boost user engagement and increase client revenue.
Sounds like a game changer for fashion businesses.
It really does. If you found this episode useful, share it with someone who'd love smarter fashion tech. And don't forget to subscribe. Okay, so let's jump into Dubai's fashion scene. We've got this awesome white paper from D3 in the business of fashion.
Oh, yeah. D3, they're doing some really interesting things in the fashion space.
Definitely. And this report is packed with insights. For instance, you might be surprised to learn that while other fashion giants like China are facing slowdowns, Dubai is actually projected to become one of the fastest growing fashion markets by 2030.
Wow, that's interesting. I mean, we always hear about Dubai's luxury market, but to hear that it's projected to be one of the fastest growing overall is pretty impressive.
It really is. So I guess the big question is, what makes Dubai's fashion market so unique?
Well, I think a big part of it is Dubai's strategic location. It's a gateway to the Middle East, Africa, and Asia.
Right, so it's like a central hub.
Exactly. And that makes it incredibly attractive to brands looking to, expand their global reach.
Makes sense. So location is definitely a key factor.
Absolutely. But beyond just location, Dubai has also cultivated this really business-friendly environment.
Okay, so that probably explains why we're seeing so many major players in the fashion industry setting up shop in Dubai.
Exactly. They're attracted by the ease of doing business, the supportive infrastructure, and the overall growth potential.
It's like the perfect storm of opportunity.
Pretty much.
But what about the consumers themselves? Who's driving this growth in Dubai's fashion market?
That's where it gets really fascinating because there's this stereotype, right, that Dubai is exclusively for the super wealthy.
Right, the image of Dubai is all about luxury and extravagance.
Exactly. But that's not the whole picture. In fact, the D3 and Both Insights survey, the one we're looking at, found that only 20% of Dubai households actually earn over US $100,000 annually.
So the majority of consumers in Dubai are not in that ultra-high net worth bracket.
Exactly. And that means there's a huge and growing middle class that's really hungry for fashion.
Okay, so we're talking about a much more diverse consumer base than people might initially think.
Absolutely. And even those with higher incomes are looking for something more than just a brand name.
Interesting. So what are they looking for?
They're looking for unique experiences, a sense of local relevance, a connection to the culture. They want fashion that reflects their values and their lifestyle.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. But Dubai is also this incredible melting pot of cultures, right? How does that play into the fashion scene?
Yeah, it's a really interesting dynamic. You've got this mix of global trends and local tastes all coming together. And, we keep hearing about this term modest fashion.
Right, modest fashion. What exactly does that mean in the context of Dubai?
Well, it's definitely a movement towards more conservative silhouettes and styles.
Okay, so it's about covering up more.
It's more than just that. It's about, expressing personal style while also adhering to cultural norms and values.
So it's not just about traditional garments, it's a broader trend.
Exactly. And what's really interesting is that it's the younger generation in Dubai that's actually driving this demand for more modest options.
That's surprising. You'd think younger consumers would be all about the latest, maybe more revealing trends.
You'd think so, right? But there's this real sense of, I don't know, pride in their cultural heritage among younger consumers, and that's reflected in their fashion choices.
It seems like a very conscious choice they're making. Now, we can't talk about Dubai without mentioning technology. I mean, the city has one of the highest smartphone penetration rates in the world.
It's true, everyone's connected.
So how is that impacting the fashion scene?
Well, social media is a huge influence on fashion choices in Dubai. I mean, huge.
Okay, so for brands looking to make a splash in Dubai, having a strong social media presence is crucial.
It's not even optional anymore. It's essential.
Right. But there's a catch, right? We keep hearing about the importance of privacy in Dubai's digital culture.
That's a really crucial point. See, Dubai's social media landscape is unique because privacy is so important.
So it's not the same as other parts of the world where everyone's sharing everything publicly.
Not at all. You see a lot of private accounts, and platforms like Snapchat, where messages disappear, are really popular.
So how do brands navigate that? How do they balance this desire to engage consumers online while also respecting their privacy?
It's a delicate balance. It's about building trust and relationships rather than just bombarding people with promotional messages.
You can't just barge into someone's digital space uninvited.
Exactly. You need to earn their attention, their trust.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Now, another thing that strikes me as unique about Dubai is its incredibly vibrant social calendar. It seems like there's always some kind of celebration or event happening.
Oh, absolutely. Dubai loves to celebrate.
So how are brands tapping into this? How are they leveraging this constant stream of events?
Well, smart brands are definitely using Dubai's events calendar. I mean, think about it. You've got everything from Dubai Fashion Week to cultural festivals like Ramadan and Eid.
Right, a really diverse mix of events.
And brands are creating unique experiences and activations that are tied to these key moments.
Okay, so give me some specific examples. What are brands actually doing?
Well, we've seen luxury brands like Valentino and MCM create these incredible activations during Ramadan.
Oh, right, for their top clients, right.
Exactly. They offered these exclusive experiences that really blended luxury with a taste of local culture.
That's a great example of how to tie into a key cultural moment and create that sense of exclusivity that luxury consumers crave.
Exactly. But it's not just about luxury brands. Lululemon, for example, has tapped into Dubai's fitness community.
How so?
They've hosted things like yoga sessions and running clubs, and they do it at these really popular locations.
So they're aligning their brand with a lifestyle that resonates with their target audience.
Exactly. And it's about building community, creating experiences that go beyond just the product.
Okay, so we've talked about location, the consumer base, the cultural influences, and the importance of events. But what about the infrastructure?
Oh, that's a crucial piece of the puzzle. Dubai has made significant investments in creating a fashion ecosystem.
Okay, so tell me more about these infrastructural shifts. What are they doing to attract international brands and also foster local talent?
Well, for one thing, they've really streamlined the process for international brands to enter the market.
So setting up a business in Dubai is no longer a bureaucratic nightmare.
Not at all. The report actually says you can get everything set up in like 48 hours.
Wow, that's incredible. It shows real commitment to attracting foreign investment and making Dubai a global fashion hub.
Absolutely. And they've also removed the requirement for foreign companies to have a 51% UAE partner, which is a major game changer.
Yeah, that opens up a lot of possibilities for international brands. But they're not just focusing on attracting international brands, right? They're also investing in nurturing local talent.
Exactly. They want to build a self-sustaining fashion industry, and they're doing that through initiatives like Dubai Design District.
Oh, D3.
Yes, B3. It's like a hub for both established brands and emerging creatives.
So it's a space for collaboration and innovation.
Exactly. And they offer all sorts of resources and facilities, co-working spaces, studios, retail spaces, mentorship programs, you name it.
It sounds like they're really trying to create a one-stop shop for all things fashion in Dubai. But what about manufacturing? Are brands actually able to produce their collections locally?
That's a great question. And yes, Dubai is investing heavily in its manufacturing capabilities. They want to become more self-sufficient.
Okay, so they're not content with just being a consumer market. They want to be a producer as well.
Exactly. And they're developing these manufacturing hubs like Dubai Industrial City, which houses over 300 factories.
Wow. So they're really serious about this. What's driving this shift towards local production?
Well, I think there are a few factors. First, it helps brands reduce their reliance on global supply chains.
Right, which have become, let's face it, increasingly vulnerable in recent years.
Exactly. Second, local production creates jobs and stimulates economic growth within Dubai. And third, it allows for greater control over quality and sustainability.
Which are becoming increasingly important considerations for both brands and consumers.
Absolutely. Consumers want to know where their clothes are coming from, how they're made, and what impact they're having on the environment.
So are there any challenges associated with local manufacturing in Dubai?
Well, like any developing industry, there are always growing pains. The report does mention limitations in scale,
Meaning?
meaning that Dubai might not yet be able to handle the mass production for some of the larger global brands.
Okay, but it sounds like they're actively working to expand their capabilities.
Oh, absolutely. They're investing in new technologies and infrastructure to make local production more efficient and scalable.
It's really impressive to see how committed they are to building a robust and sustainable fashion industry.
It really is, and they're not overlooking the importance of nurturing the next generation of fashion professionals.
So how are they doing that?
Well, they've partnered with some incredible institutions like MIT and Parsons School of Design.
Wow, those are some big names in fashion education.
They've helped to establish design schools and programs in Dubai that are really cutting edge.
What makes them so edge?
Well, they're really incorporating technology, business, and sustainability into their curriculum.
So they're preparing students for the realities of the modern fashion industry.
Exactly. For example, at the Dubai Institute of Design and Innovation, students are learning everything from coding and robotics to traditional design and business models.
So they're getting a well-rounded education that will equip them to be leaders in the industry. It's amazing to see Dubai investing so heavily in the future of fashion. Now, all this talk about innovation and infrastructure is fascinating, but what about the brands that are already established in Dubai? Are they facing any challenges in adapting to this rapidly evolving market?
Well, one of the biggest challenges, I think, is keeping up with consumer expectations. Dubai is such a dynamic city, and consumer preferences are constantly evolving.
So it's not enough to just offer a wide selection of products anymore. You need to create an experience.
Exactly. Consumers in Dubai are looking for something more than just a transactional experience. They want to feel a connection with the brand, the products, and the community.
So how are brands responding to this? What are some examples of brands that are doing this well?
Well, some luxury brands like Gucci and Louis Vuitton have created these like salon concepts within their stores.
Salons.
Yeah, they offer exclusive product ranges, personalized styling services, and a more intimate shopping experience.
That makes sense, especially for luxury consumers who are looking for that personalized touch. But what about brands that don't have the resources to create these elaborate salon concepts?
Well, even small changes can make a big difference. Things like improving customer service, offering personalized recommendations, creating a welcoming atmosphere.
It's about making the customer feel valued.
Exactly. And technology is also playing a role. Some brands are using augmented reality.
Oh, that's interesting. How so?
Allowing customers to visualize furniture in their homes or try on different shades of lipstick virtually.
That's really cool. It brings the online shopping experience to life in the physical store.
Exactly. It's about creating engaging and interactive experiences.
Now, given that Dubai is known for its luxury offerings, I'm curious about pricing strategies. How do brands balance the demand for luxury with the reality of price sensitivity among consumers?
That's a key consideration for any brand operating in Dubai. And while there's a strong market for luxury goods, consumers are definitely becoming more price conscious.
It makes sense, especially with the transparency that online shopping provides.
Exactly. You can easily compare prices from all over the world now. And the report actually cautions against price arbitrage.
Price arbitrage, what's that?
It's basically the practice of inflating prices in certain markets just because you think you can get away with it.
That seems a bit unfair, to be honest.
Yeah, and it's becoming less prevalent as consumers become more savvy and have access to those global price comparisons.
So brands can't just slap a high price tag on something and expect it to sell in Dubai.
Not anymore. Consumers are smarter than that.
They're demanding transparency and fair pricing.
Absolutely. It's not just about the sticker price. It's about offering value for money.
Consumers need to feel like they're getting something special for their money, whether it's exceptional quality, unique design, or personalized service.
Exactly.
Now, earlier we talked about social media and the importance of connecting with consumers in an authentic way. What are some specific strategies that brands are using to do this effectively in Dubai?
Well, I think the key is to remember that Dubai consumers are heavily influenced by social media, but they value authenticity and relatability above all else.
So it's not just about finding the influencer with the most followers.
Not necessarily. It's about finding the right fit for your brand and target audience.
Someone who genuinely aligns with your brand values and can connect with your target audience in a meaningful way.
Exactly. And it's not just about having them post a picture with your product. It's about co-creating content that feels organic and allows them to showcase your brand in a way that resonates with their audience.
So it's about building a real relationship with the influencer and letting them be a genuine advocate for your brand.
Precisely. The report highlights some great examples of brands who are doing just that.
What?
Well, for instance, the luxury retailer Unis collaborated with the British brand Represent Clothing to create these pop-up shops featuring designs that incorporate Arabic script and imagery.
That's a great example of blending global trends with local relevance.
Exactly. It was a hit because it appealed to both style and cultural pride. And it's not just about collaborations. Dubai's events calendar offers tons of opportunities for brands to connect with their consumers as well.
Right, we talked about that earlier. Brands are tapping into events like Dubai Fashion Week, cultural festivals, and art exhibitions to showcase their offerings and connect with consumers.
Exactly. But it's not just about showcasing products. It's about creating a sense of community and engagement.
Right, like those Lululemon events. We discussed the yoga sessions and running clubs at popular locations like Kite Beach.
Exactly. They're associating their brand with a lifestyle and creating opportunities for consumers to experience their brand in a way that goes beyond just buying a product.
It's really smart. And it's not just big brands with huge budgets that can do this.
Right. The report actually highlights this great story about a Dubai-based women's wear brand called Nasika Skorti.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What did they do?
They opened a window shop where customers could try on clothes without any pressure to buy.
That's a really interesting concept.
It was a great way to create a low-pressure, engaging experience that focuses on building relationships rather than just pushing sales.
I love that. It shows that you don't need a massive budget to create a meaningful experience.
Exactly. It's about being creative, understanding your target audience, and finding ways to connect with them on a personal level.
So as we round up this part of our deep dive into Dubai's fashion scene, what are some of the key takeaways that our listeners should keep in mind?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway is that Dubai's fashion market is booming. It presents some incredible opportunities for brands that are willing to understand its unique dynamics.
It's not just another market to conquer, it's a market to embrace, learn from, and collaborate with.
Absolutely.
And what about the Dubai consumer? What sets them apart?
Well, the Dubai consumer is discerning, diverse, and increasingly sophisticated.
So brands need to step up their game.
They do. Consumers here value authenticity, local relevance, and experiences that go beyond just shopping.
So it's not enough to just offer a great product, you need to offer a great experience as well.
Exactly. And finally, I think it's important to remember that Dubai's fashion scene is all about innovation, creativity, and pushing boundaries.
It's a city that's constantly reinventing itself, and that's what makes it so exciting.
Absolutely.
Well, it's been fascinating exploring all of this with you.
Likewise.
Okay, before we move on to the next part of our deep dive where we'll explore the specific strategies that brands are implementing to succeed in Dubai, let's take a quick break.
Welcome back to the fashion algorithm.
All right, so we've explored like the foundations of Dubai's fashion scene, the booming market, the evolving infrastructure, that really diverse consumer base.
Definitely a lot to unpack there.
There is, but now I kind of want to like dive deeper into the trends and like those cultural nuances that make Dubai truly doesn't.
Yeah. Get into the nitty-gritty.
Exactly. And this white paper from D3 in the business of fashion, they really highlight this blend of global trends and like those local tastes. It's fascinating.
It's really cool to see how Dubai consumers are taking like those global fashion trends, but they're adapting them to fit their own cultural context.
Right. You'd think that in a city with like such a global population, brands could just offer their standard global collections and like call it a day. But it's not that simple, is it?
No, not at all. While Dubai consumers are definitely drawn to those big international brands, they also want to see a reflection of their own culture, like their own values in the fashion that's available to them.
So it's got to be that sweet spot between global appeals and local relevance.
Exactly. And that's where I think this concept of modest fashion really comes into play. The report really emphasizes how important it is for brands to consider modest and traditional styles like alongside their global collections.
Yeah, we touched on modest fashion earlier, but I'm kind of curious to unpacking it a bit more. Like, what does it actually mean in Dubai? What are we talking about here?
Well, modest fashion in Dubai, it's about expressing personal style while also adhering to those cultural norms and values.
So it's not as simple as just like covering up more.
Right. It's not just about covering up. We're seeing a preference for looser silhouettes, longer hemlines, and designs that just offer more coverage without sacrificing style.
Okay, so like a fusion of contemporary fashion with those traditional elements.
Precisely. And what's fascinating is that this trend, it's not just limited to like the older generations.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the report actually highlights that it's the younger consumers in Dubai that are really driving this demand for modest fashion.
That's really interesting because you'd think younger generations would be more inclined towards like the latest, maybe more revealing trends.
Right. It seems counterintuitive.
It does. It seems like there's a deeper cultural shift happening here.
Absolutely. There's this growing awareness and appreciation for their cultural heritage, for personal values, and that's reflected in their fashion choices.
Makes sense. So how are brands responding to this demand for modest fashion?
We're seeing a lot of international brands actually create like special capsule collections just for the Dubai market.
Oh, wow. So they're really tailoring their offerings.
Yeah, they're tailoring their offerings, and these collections often feature more traditional silhouettes, fabrics, embellishments, but, with a modern twist.
So it's not like they're just like replicating traditional garments. There's still that contemporary edge.
Exactly. It's all about like finding that balance.
Yeah, it's like this beautiful cultural exchange happening through fashion. Global brands are incorporating those local elements, and Dubai consumers are embracing those global trends while staying true to their roots.
I completely agree. It's really unique, this blend of tradition and modernity, and it's one of the things that makes Dubai's fashion scene So interesting to watch.
It's super interesting. Now, the report also highlights another trend, the rise of local designers and brands. And, I imagine this ties into that desire for local relevance that we talked about earlier.
Oh, absolutely. Consumers in Dubai are increasingly interested in supporting homegrown talent, showcasing their cultural pride through fashion.
Makes sense.
There's a real sense of excitement around these emerging designers, and they're getting recognition not just locally, but internationally as well.
So what sets these local designers apart? Like, what's their unique selling proposition?
Well, they have a deep understanding of the local culture, the climate, the preferences of the Dubai consumer.
Yeah, it's like they have that insider knowledge.
Exactly, and they're able to create designs that are both stylish and practical, and they often incorporate traditional elements but in a modern and innovative way.
It's like they're taking those traditions and reinterpreting them for a contemporary audience.
Exactly. And are international brands taking notice of this trend? Are we seeing collaborations between global brands and local designers?
That's what I was going to ask. Are we seeing those partnerships happening?
Definitely. Collaborations are becoming more and more common.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're seeing international brands partnering with those local designers to create like limited edition collections or co-host events, really tap into that vibrant local creative scene. It's a win-win for both sides.
I love that it feels like Dubai is becoming this hub for creative collaboration and cross-cultural exchange in the fashion industry.
It really is. It's exciting to see.
Now, we've talked a lot about the consumer side of things, but I kind of want to shift gear for a moment and talk about the business side. The white paper mentioned some interesting insights about pricing strategies in Dubai, and this is particularly fascinating to me because Dubai has this image of being like a city of luxury and extravagance.
Yeah, it's known for its opulence and high-end offerings.
Exactly, but the reality is more nuanced, right?
Right, it's more complex, and the report emphasizes the importance of understanding price sensitivity among Dubai consumers.
So even in a city known for its high-end offerings, price still matters.
Oh, absolutely. Dubai consumers are savvy shoppers. They're not afraid to compare prices and seek out value for their money.
Right, you can't just assume that everyone is willing to pay top dollar.
Exactly, and the rise of e-commerce and global price transparency has made them even more aware of price discrepancies.
So brands can't just get away with charging exorbitant prices anymore. They need to be more strategic.
They really do, and the report specifically cautions brands against engaging in what's called price arbitrage.
Price arbitrage, what is that?
Essentially, it's the practice of inflating prices in certain markets to exploit consumer perceptions.
So like a brand might charge way more for a handbag in Dubai just because they think they can get away with it.
Exactly.
That doesn't seem very fair.
No, it's not. And Dubai consumers are more informed and empowered than ever before.
Right? They have access to global price comparisons now.
They do. They're quick to call out brands that try to take advantage of them.
So transparency and fair pricing are absolutely crucial for building trust and loyalty with the Dubai consumer.
Couldn't agree more. It's not just about the sticker price. It's about offering a value proposition that justifies the price.
Consumers need to feel like they're getting something special for their money, whether that's exceptional quality, unique design, personalized service, or, a combination of all three.
Ideally, all of the above.
Right, exactly. Now let's talk about marketing and consumer engagement in Dubai. And I don't think we can have this conversation without addressing the elephant in the room, or should I say the smartphone in everyone's hand.
Right.
Dubai is a hyper-connected city. Social media plays a huge role in shaping consumer behavior. So what are some of the key insights from the report about social media strategies in Dubai?
One of the biggest takeaways is the importance of authenticity and local relevance. Global brands can't just replicate their global social media strategies in Dubai.
So it's not just about posting those pretty pictures and generic slogans. It's got to be more targeted.
It has to be more targeted, have to resonate.
So it's about creating content that truly resonates with that Dubai consumer, reflecting their lifestyle, their values, their aspirations.
Exactly, and this is where partnering with those local influencers and content creators becomes so important.
Right, they can bring that local knowledge and perspective.
Exactly. These individuals have a deep understanding of the local market, and they can really help brands connect with consumers in a much more authentic and engaging way.
It's like tapping into the power of word-of-mouth marketing. You're leveraging the trust and credibility that these influencers have built with their followers.
Precisely. And it's not just about promoting products, it's about creating that sense of community, building relationships.
So it's about going beyond those transactional interactions and creating those genuine connections.
Exactly. And Dubai's social media landscape presents some really unique opportunities for brands to do just that.
Okay, now I'm intrigued. What are some of those unique aspects of Dubai's social media landscape that brands really need to be aware of?
Well, one of the things the report highlights is the importance of privacy in Dubai's digital culture. While social media is hugely popular in Dubai, a lot of users actually choose to keep their accounts private, and they're more selective about who they connect with online.
Okay, so it's not the same kind of open and public social media environment that we see in some Western countries.
Not at all. And you see a lot more private accounts, and platforms like Snapchat, where those messages disappear, are very popular.
So that definitely has implications for how brands approach social media marketing.
It does. They need to be more respectful of user privacy, and really focus on building trust in relationships rather than just like blasting out promotional messages to the
Right,
masses.
you can't just barge in uninvited. You got to be invited into that digital space.
Exactly. You got to earn that trust. And it's important to remember that social media in Dubai, it's not just about broadcasting messages, it's about listening and engaging in
Oh,
conversations.
for sure, it's a two-way street.
Dubai consumers are very active on social media, and they expect brands to be responsive to their comments, to their questions, their feedback.
It's about building that dialogue.
It is. It's a dialogue, and this active participation can take many forms. It could be as simple as responding to comments and messages, or it could involve hosting those live Q&A sessions, engaging in those meaningful discussions with consumers.
It's about showing that you're listening and that you care.
Exactly, and that you value their input.
It sounds like social media in Dubai is all about building those relationships, fostering that trust, creating that sense of community.
You hit the nail on the head. That's what makes it such a dynamic and exciting space for brands to connect with consumers on a deeper level.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today, from those nuances of modest fashion and the rise of those local designers to the importance of fair pricing and that authentic social media engagement. It's clear that Dubai's fashion scene is complex and multifaceted.
Definitely.
But what do you see as like the biggest opportunities for brands in this market?
I think one of the biggest opportunities lies in Dubai's unique position as a global hub.
Right, it's that crossroads of cultures.
It's a melting pot. It makes it an ideal testing ground for brands that are looking to expand that reach and appeal to that global audience.
So it's not just about catering to the local market, it's about using Dubai as a springboard for global expansion.
Exactly. Brands can really leverage Dubai's diverse consumer base, that cosmopolitan atmosphere, to experiment with those new designs, test out different marketing strategies, and really gain valuable insights into global consumer trends.
It's like a microcosm of the global fashion market. It's an incredible opportunity.
It is. It's what makes Dubai such a valuable market for those brands looking to stay ahead of the curve and shape the future of fashion.
Of course, with all those opportunities come challenges. What do you see as like the biggest challenges for brands operating in Dubai's fashion market?
I think one of the biggest challenges is staying ahead of the curve in a market that's just constantly evolving.
Right, because Dubai's fashion scene is incredibly dynamic. Those new trends and consumer preferences are emerging all the time.
All the time, so it's not a market where you can just set up shop and coast on past
You
successes.
got to be on your toes.
You have to be. Brands need to be agile, responsive to that consumer feedback, and willing to experiment with new ideas and new approaches.
And of course, they need to be able to navigate those cultural nuances and complexities of a diverse and globalized market.
For sure, cultural sensitivity, authenticity, and a deep understanding of the local context are absolutely essential for success in Dubai.
It's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
Not at all.
Now, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to touch on one final point that the white paper highlights, and that's the increasing importance of sustainability in Dubai's fashion industry.
This is a crucial topic. It's gaining increasing attention globally, and Dubai is no exception.
Right, it's not just a niche concern anymore, it's becoming mainstream.
It is. Consumers in Dubai are becoming more and more aware of the environmental and social impact of fashion, and they're demanding more sustainable practices from the brands that they support.
So it's not just about looking good, it's about doing good as well.
Exactly. Consumers are holding brands accountable, and those that are able to demonstrate a genuine commitment to sustainability, they're going to have a competitive advantage in this market.
So what are some of the ways that brands are incorporating sustainability into their operations in Dubai?
Well, we're seeing a wide range of initiatives, from using sustainable materials and reducing waste to supporting fair labor practices and promoting ethical sourcing.
So it's about taking a holistic approach, considering the impact of every step of that fashion supply chain.
Precisely. And this is an area where innovation and collaboration are absolutely essential. Brands, designers, manufacturers, consumers, they all need to work together to create a more sustainable fashion industry in Dubai.
It's a collective effort.
It really is.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today, from the nuances of modest fashion and the rise of local designers to the importance of fair pricing, authentic social media engagement, and sustainable practices. I mean, it's clear that Dubai's fashion scene is complex and multifaceted.
It is. It's a dynamic market,
It's a fascinating market to follow.
definitely.
Now, in the final part of our deep dive, we're going to shift our focus to those specific strategies that brands are using to succeed in this dynamic market. What are they doing to capture the attention of that Dubai consumer and stand out in this competitive landscape? Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the fashion algorithm. We've spent this whole episode unpacking Dubai's fashion scene from, the booming market and that evolving infrastructure to those diverse consumers and all those cultural nuances. It's been a really fascinating journey. We've seen how Dubai is blending global trends with those local tastes, embracing modest fashion, and really fostering that vibrant community of homegrown designers.
Exactly. And now let's get down to brass tacks. What strategies are brands using to succeed in this dynamic market?
That's the big question, isn't it? The white paper actually offers some great case studies of brands that are doing really well in Dubai, and one thing we see again and again is this focus on creating those immersive experiences. It goes way beyond just shopping.
We've touched on this concept throughout our deep dive, but I'd love to hear more about what these experiences actually look like. Give me some examples.
Okay, think like exclusive events, pop-up shops, collaborations with local artists, maybe even incorporating technology to enhance that in-store experience. Remember those Ramadan activations we talked about?
You mean the ones hosted by Valentino and MCM for their top clients?
Exactly. They offered that taste of luxury and cultural immersion, and the timing was perfect, coinciding with a key moment in the Dubai calendar.
It's such a smart strategy, tapping into those cultural moments to create that sense of exclusivity and, cater to the Dubai consumer's appreciation for both luxury and tradition.
It's all about understanding that cultural landscape and weaving your brand into the fabric of Dubai life. Another successful strategy we're seeing is leveraging the power of local influencers.
Right, and we've talked about the importance of authenticity in Dubai's social media landscape. It seems like partnering with the right local influencers is really key to achieving that.
Absolutely. Remember, Dubai consumers are heavily influenced by social media, but they value authenticity and relatability above all else. So it's not just about finding the influencer with the biggest following.
It's about finding the right fit for your brand, your target audience.
Exactly. Those tastemakers who genuinely resonate with the Dubai consumer and can showcase your brand in a way that just feels natural and organic.
It's got to be authentic.
It has to be. And it's not just about a simple product placement. It's about co-creating content with these influencers, tapping into their creativity and allowing them to showcase your brand in a way that feels really authentic to their audience.
It's about building a real relationship with those influencers, letting them be genuine advocates.
Precisely. The white paper gives a great example. The luxury retailer Unas, they collaborated with that British brand, Represent Clothing.
I think I saw that, yeah.
They did these pop-up shops, and they featured designs that actually incorporated Arabic script and imagery. It was a huge hit.
That's such a smart way to blend those global trends with local relevance. It appeals to both a sense of style and that sense of cultural pride.
It does. It's about understanding what resonates with that Dubai consumer and creatively weaving those elements into your brand's narrative. Now, beyond immersive experiences and influencer collaborations, brands are finding success by tapping into Dubai's events calendar.
Right, Dubai is a city that loves to celebrate, lots of opportunities there.
Oh, tons. You got everything from Dubai Fashion Week and Seoul DXB to those cultural festivals and art exhibitions. Endless opportunities for brands to connect with consumers and showcase their offerings in a way that feels organic and engaging.
It's about being present where your target audience is and creating experiences that align with their interests and passions.
Exactly. And it's not just about showcasing those products. It's about creating a sense of community, that engagement. Remember that Lululemon example we talked about?
The yoga sessions and running clubs at Kite Beach, yeah, those are great.
Exactly. They're associating their brand with a lifestyle and creating opportunities for consumers to experience their brand in a way that goes beyond just buying a product.
It's smart. And it's not just big brands with huge budgets that can do this. Smaller brands can find success, right?
Definitely. It's all about thinking outside the box, finding creative ways to connect with consumers. The report highlights this great story. There's this Dubai-based women's wear brand called Nafsika Skorti. They opened a window shop, and it was a place where customers could try on clothes without any pressure to buy.
What a cool idea.
Yeah, it allowed them to experience the brand, understand the sizing, build a connection with the brand, and that could lead to future purchases. It's low pressure, creates an engaging experience, and it focuses on building relationships rather than pushing sales.
I love that. It shows that you don't need a massive budget to create those meaningful experiences. It's about being creative, understanding your audience, and finding ways to connect.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Dubai's fashion scene, What are some key takeaways for our listeners?
Well, I think the biggest one is that Dubai's fashion market is booming. It presents incredible opportunities, but you got to be willing to understand its unique dynamics.
It's not just another market to conquer. You have to embrace it, learn from it, and collaborate.
Absolutely. And remember, the Dubai consumer is discerning, diverse, and increasingly sophisticated. They value authenticity, local relevance, and experiences that go beyond just shopping.
So brands really need to step up their game, do their research, and listen to that local market.
Exactly. And finally, I think it's important to remember that Dubai's fashion scene is all about innovation, creativity, and pushing boundaries.
It's a city that is constantly reinventing itself, and that's what makes it so exciting.
Couldn't agree more.
Well, it's been so fascinating to explore all of this with you today. Huge thank you to our expert for sharing those incredible insights.
It was my pleasure.
And to our listeners, we hope you found this deep dive into Dubai's fashion scene informative and inspiring. If you're interested in learning more, we encourage you to check out that full white paper from D3 and the Business of Fashion. And don't forget to subscribe to the Fashion Algorithm for more deep dives into the world of fashion. Until next time.